Okay, we are officially live. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Let's make sure this is good. Yep, mic. Okay. Boom, there we go. December 2nd, 2022. We are live. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Let me tweet this out that I am live. We are back again on another market open. The markets are down. Down a little bit aggressively as well. Not even down that slightly. But we are here. We are here. It's a Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. It's been a hell of a week for me. A lot of ups, lots of downs. Some stuff a little annoying, some stuff a little, awesome, but it is what it is. Shout out to 40 people being here in 1 minute. Thank you guys for being here. Let me just tweet this out and then we will get started. GS Strategies, what's up? Cameron, let's go. 5-star Breezy, what's up? What's up? Seth Roth, Uriel, Ahad, Fut Bucker. I got to make sure I say it right. Quarantine Quartet, Sasky Rose, Felicia. Someone's been shopping at TJ Maxx home decor. I love it. What's up, everybody? Friday morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Let me know your weekend plans below in the description. Not the description, the chat. Look at me, the description. Let me know what you're doing over the weekend. I might be doing something. I might not be doing something. It all depends on what happens today. I know that's the most vague thing. It's like, I might be doing something. I might not be doing something. But, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Jason, what's up? Well, now this is part of my morning routine. I love it. That's cool, man. It's fun building a community where, it's part of your morning routine. It's awesome. Did you actually sleep last night? Bro, I slept at 4 a.m. last night. Last night was a long night to sleep late. But it's okay because we're here. And we get to be alive another day, We get to live. We get to be alive. December is a very interesting month. I want to end, shout out to Sam, thank you for being here as well. I want to end December the right way to go into January. You know how people say like they'll start fresh in the new year? I think, and this is not some original thought that I came up with, but I think if you can just start fresh in December, then the new year you have a chance. Like if you're going to start working out in January, but you start working out in December, you're 1 month ahead and you kind of feel as if you already have momentum, right? I think that's an interesting concept. It's like feeling like you have momentum before the new year starts, because when the new year starts, you have to build momentum. Whereas if you can screw up a little bit in December, but ultimately build it in the last couple of weeks and then go into the new year, I think that's probably better. So maybe like the market, maybe we can build some momentum into the market before 2023. S&P is down 1.28% at 402 right now. So the S&P, that's a pretty dramatic decline going from 407 to 402. Obviously, any percentage decline on the S&P is bad. Facebook's down 2%, Robinhood down 3%, Snowflake down 2%, Shopify down 3.6%. So everything is down. Spotify down 1.83%. Decent downs. We will see how the market reacts when we officially get open. But it is down this morning, and we'll discuss why. I think SBF is going down in flames. You keep track of his story. So yeah, apparently on Twitter Spaces last night, he admitted that he took funds. On the New York Times interview, he never like officially admitted it, but like now he admitted it. I guess that's I don't know, man. I guess he's officially in a spot where it's bad. You got to start short in the New Year's Santa Claus rally. Yeah, look, I think it's important to try at least to do something in the beginning of the December to keep going. Let me play this video real quick, not all of it, but we're going to talk about jobs and then we'll get into the market open itself. Can we all agree that it makes our morning? I appreciate you, Practical Investing. Means a lot, man. Means a lot.
It is now time, and it might take a couple seconds to get the real important numbers, but Rick Santel is going to do it for us. Hey, Rick.
Hi, Joe. Yes, of course, we're waiting the most important number of the month, November jobs report, expecting 200,000, 263,000. And of course, until it's revised, 261,000 in the rearview mirror, pretty much a lateral move. Private payrolls, well, they moved to 221,000. And if you look at the combined revision of the last 2 months, we subtracted 23,000. Unemployment rate, 3.7 as expected. And It's in the rear view mirror. Don't see a revision as of this point. Okay, revision 284,000, the last non-farm. So 263 is the new benchmark. Average hourly earnings on a month-over-month basis. All right, buckle up. This is a biggie. Up 0.6%. Up 0.6. That equals the high watermark from October of 2021. So that is a strong number. And wages year over year, 5.1%. Now, keep in mind, the 4.7 last month was the lowest since August, okay? Lowest since August of 21. This is a robust number at 5.1 and much better than expected. 5.2 was August, so it hasn't been that long. The high water mark here is 5.6 from March, but nonetheless, it is definitely stronger than expected. And if we look at the average hours worked, 34.4, let's see, 34.4 is about as expected. We've had 34.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 months in a row. So we have eased back just a bit, 1/10. And finally, the labor force participation rate moving in the wrong direction. This is not good. 62.1. 62.1. That equals the low mark, which was in July, also at 62.1 on a recent basis. If you go back in the last year, we had 61.6, 61.4 actually in January of 2020. So when you look at it in the context of 2022, it's a big disappointment. And U6, the other unemployment rate, the
So we added 263,000 jobs. Interesting. That was a bit lower than what, or it was more than what the Fed expected. The Fed did not want us to add. Remember, the Fed wants to get unemployment around to 4 to 5%. So payroll numbers was well above the 200,000 estimate. We estimated we would get 200,000 jobs. We added 263,000. Which means if you're a worker, it's good, right? Because that means there's like more wages, it's more competitive, there's more fighting for your labor, which means there's going to be a better benefit to you. But if you're the Fed that wants to decrease inflation and wants to get people not working, so there's less money in the economy to be spent, it's not necessarily the best. It's such a tricky line, man. No one wants you to lose your job. Like, I think every human on the planet doesn't want another human to lose their job. But then it's like from the macro up, some people have to, which is why the tech layoffs were kind of okay, because at least those people have some money saved up. So it's like they're not like blue collar jobs, right? There's people that can afford to wait some time if they don't have a job. Blue collar jobs, no one wants to see them get laid off if you're working paycheck to paycheck. So it's an interesting situation that the Fed's gonna have to be able to manage. All right. 9:30 a.m., December 2nd, my merch store launching on Monday. I'm so excited for you guys to see that. I really don't know how many of you guys are going to buy it. Okay, I'm going to be straight up. People say they want merch. I don't know how many people buy it. I tried to keep the prices as decent as possible, but the Audia hoodies are pretty dope. I'm just saying it right now. We got a professional designer to do it. They are pretty dope. So I think you guys will at least enjoy them, and hopefully you can pick them up. Here we go. December 2nd, brand new month. We're in December, 9:30 a.m., the stock market. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It means the absolute world to me. Is now open, and let's open it together. Wake your ass up. The stock market is now open. Netflix at 312.77, down 1.32%. Meta 118.18, up 29% from its October 13th lows, but down a little bit today. S&P at 403, so showing a little bit of weakness from 407. S&P not being able to go past 408.32. It'll be interesting to see if we go under 400, and obviously what that does psychologically for the market and how that takes us even lower potentially. Palantir, by the way, I will try to find that video. I'll pull it up in a little bit. Fox Business did an interview with Shyam Sankar. Honestly, I might just make a video reacting to it. That'll be a little bit easier. So you can watch out for my video coming out on that. But they announced a new 10-year deal with the Cleveland Clinic. I don't have all the information about this deal because honestly, I haven't researched into it too much yet. But Shyam Sankar did go on CNBC and talked about it. So I'll make a video about that later today, and you guys can check that out. NEO at $12, down 0.41%. Ginkgo Bioworks down 184. Its 52-week low was 175. It rebounded yesterday or 2 days ago when Jerome Powell was like really nice. It was dovish. It's so crazy, bro. He was hawkish like 3 weeks ago. Markets tanked. He was dovish. Markets go up. It's just crazy how much power and control he has. Zoom at 75. Tesla at 193, going up a little bit more. Again, 166 was its low point. So, Chicken Genius said Tesla to 140. I think that's why a lot of people were even hesitant to buy the dip at 160 because, not only him, but people like him who are short Tesla seed in that 420 pre-split range. we'll see if it actually ends up continuing to get there. Amazon 95, Datadog 74, Lilium 1.39, Coinbase $44, Snapchat $10, staying above in the $10 range. And let's go to the NASDAQ. Let's see what this index, I think it'll be close to 11,000 right there, 11,333. Okay. So it ran to 11.5. It was down at 10,944 literally 4 days ago. So now it's at 11,355. So we can see that it's up there as well. End phase crashing. Hold on. Let's go to end phase. 300, 33. Okay. I mean, it was like what, 320 yesterday? 317. Yeah, it's not a crazy crash. Look, end phase again. I'm so excited about this company. It's a really awesome company. The problem is the stock is overvalued. Like it cannot justify being a $42 billion company, 153 price to earnings, trailing 12 months. Yeah, come on, man. No, we're not doing that. This is not something you buy right now, especially if you think the market's not going to be in the most stable position in 2023. Also, if you just look at the max, I mean, this guy's run up. It's up already 300 times. It was at $1 in 2017. It's up 300 times. If someone told me in 2017 to buy it, that would have been really nice. That would have been nice to know. So end phase is great. I think for the future, I think there's more room to grow. I've done a couple of videos explaining that solar penetration is only 4%. They make the microinverters. They virtually have zero competition. The problem is the stock is overvalued right now, and we have to see it closer to like 190, 180 for it to be more exciting. But it just doesn't drop unless the entire market starts to drop. So we have to be able to see. I can't wait to buy the Audia hat for summer in my Audia sweater. I love it, Cindy. Thank you. Shout out to Cindy. She was a fan who visited me when I went to Vegas. Literally, she drove to see me, and it was awesome. So I appreciate you, Cindy. Thank you so much for being here. This is such a crazy mechanic how things work. Economy good, stock market's down. Yep. Well, it makes sense, right? The economy's good, so inflation's not going to go down. So then the stock market is down as well, even if the economy theoretically is good at the end of the day. Respectfully, your mic is ass. Are you guys still hearing the whatever you call it, the stupid crackle? Look, guys, I'm trying to fix it. I will keep trying to investigate over the weekend. The problem is this is a $400 mic, and it's doing this stupid little crackle thing. But I will try to fix it. Some of you guys have been saying get new mic from your merch store, and honestly, it's the funniest thing ever. Because this mic is actually good, but it's like the funniest thing. Like, get a new mic from your merch store. Opening a merch store, might as well buy a new microphone. Okay, let me pull up this video and let's take a little bit of a look at it here. What do we have? All right, here we go. The Fed is on tape delay when it comes to Actually, no. This is the one I was looking for. Brad Gerstner's. Chris actually was sharing this yesterday. Let's hear Brad Gerstner talk a little bit around tech. Snowflake had their earnings. We'll go over that in a second. Not horrible earnings, to be honest, but let's go through it.
Begin though with our talk to the tape. The fate of this market, the rally at least, taking a pause today after that big burst yesterday, that post-Powell pop, if you will. Let's ask Altimeter Capital founder and CEO Brad Gerstner what's likely to happen now. He is with us today exclusively right here in Overtime. Welcome back. It's good to see you again.
Great to be here, Scott. Thanks for having me.
You were last on September 15th. I mean, S&P's up 3.5% since then, and a lot has happened in that period. Obviously, we're up a lot from the mid-October low, but you described the market environment back then, Brad, as, quote, pretty treacherous. So how would you characterize it today?
Well, listen, we've gone through a historical regime change for sure in 2022. And everybody has to reorient themselves around a rate environment which is going to be 4 to 5%. What made the world treacherous for growth stocks in September was that they weren't pricing this new orientation. And so what we've seen since that period of time is great dispersion. For those companies that are driving free cash flow growth, we're seeing a great response out of the market, right? Think Palo Alto Networks or maybe even Snowflake today. For those companies that are still anchored to this idea that they're going to get a multiple of revenue, right? 10, 15, 20 times sales without producing profitability. That ship has sailed. Those days are gone. And the faster both private and public companies get on board with this new orientation, I think the better they're going to perform.
You're so transparent with us every time you come on in terms of not only how you see things, but how you're positioning, right? Where you're putting your money to work. Can you give us an idea today where you're positioned?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been uncomfortably long over the course of this year, and we've been long and wrong for many parts of the year, right? We didn't anticipate that inflation was going to be this persistent. We didn't anticipate that rates were going to go this high. And the fact of the matter is that's been painful for us and for a lot of technology investors. But here we are starting December of 2022, and we're looking forward at a year. We listened to the Powell speech yesterday. I think there's a broad consensus that inflation is rolling over. I think there's a broad consensus that now we have an upward bound around rates. I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe it's a Fed funds rate of 4.5, of 5, or 5.25. But that gives us something to hinge to as we begin to model and underwrite investments heading into next year. So I think that you can either fight the last battle, which will be pretty painful, right? Or orient and position your portfolio for 2023. I think the things that you want to own, to the extent you're going to be investing in technology, need to be those beaten up names with real free cash flow support. There are big cap names trading at historical lows. There are companies like Snowflake today where this company over the course of a year has gone from trading at 100 times sales to 40 to 50 times free cash flow, right? Free cash flow. And that's why the company, they came out last night, they said, listen, the macro's tough. Fourth quarter is going to come in a little bit lighter. In most instances, that would have been abused by 20%. In fact, it was down a lot after the bell, as you know, yesterday. However, the stock ended today up almost 8%. And the reason is they give a free cash flow guide for next year that came in at 700 million versus the estimate of 550 million. Not only is this one of the fastest growing software companies of all time, but it's one of the most profitable fast growth software companies of all time.
Okay, so obviously Brad Gerstner is if you don't know, he runs Altimeter Capital. And one sec. Sorry. Okay, he's obviously very long Snowflake. And the reason he's long Snowflake is because Snowflake is able to not only grow at the rate that they're growing at, but they're also growing free cash flow in a very interesting way. Now, the problem with Snowflake is that we do believe, at least, most of us think that trading 30 times TTM is a little bit of an overvaluation in comparison to some of the other companies. And then you get into the broader question of, is the tech even that good to sustain a moat over the next decade? For Snowflake to be a company that's around for the next decade, remember, they went public at 245, ran up to 429. Lots of firms were buying in this range when we were having a crazy, crazy market. And now it's, come back down to reality. For them to be around for the next decade, and essentially be a Salesforce, right? Salesforce is one of those SaaS companies that has really given shareholder value over the past decade, or over the past 2 decades. For them to be able to do that, they have to continuously provide a cloud-based data solution that they are providing. Now, Snowflake provides a lot of different things. I think the bet on Palantir is that they have an actual technology that can be used in the NHS, right? Like they can transform the entire operating system. They're like give you a magic power into your organization. Your organization can use that. Now, is Palantir growing as fast as Snowflake? No. Does Palantir have a CEO that has the exact same business strength as Frank Slootman? No. But if the tech is really, at the end of the day, this comes down to a question about tech. And if you speak into the technical people like CodeStrap, we've had him on our podcast many times, and you listen to what the actual technical people are saying, there's a different argument that's being met at the end of the day. Chris is dead on. Palantir is not a Wall Street darling. Retail won't be able to get it much higher. Well, I don't think retail should be able to get it much higher. I think Palantir is a stock that should grow on its own, and then institutions ultimately recognize how valuable it is. There's a reason people like Stanley Druckenmiller are in the stock. There's a reason why there's a lot of Japanese holding companies that are into the stock, especially because of what Palantir has been able to do in Japan. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to. Palantir is one of those companies where you have to look at it and be like, am I with it or am I not with it? Like, you can't be kind of with it. I mean, you can obviously allocate a small amount of your portfolio to it, but if you do think there's some astronomical returns on the better half of the next 7-8 years, you've got to be with it at this time, right? You've got to be like, all right, I'm here. I'm in the thesis. Either I lose the money or I make the money. That's it. And if you want to play it much more safer, I think Snowflake is obviously a safer bet, just given they've been able to show how they execute. But I don't think Snowflake has the technology that Palantir does at the end of the day. And there's many videos of me explaining that, talking to experts around that. And so it's when someone says Snowflake is growing as fast as they are and their free cash flow and all that, it's like, that's great. But a lot of that stuff does not answer the question of like, can they go up 20, 30x from here, especially at the valuation. This company went public at 275. I mean, like, goodness gracious. Now they can say, well, it's been growing since. It's like, yeah, sure, it's been growing since then. But at what level are you able to pay? At what point do you pay $1 for the growth that you're getting in comparison to the valuation of that dollar? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. There's no reason you shouldn't have Snowflake in the portfolio. It's just a question of, do you expect a 2x or a 20x? And what are you trying to invest for? And so those are ultimately my thoughts on that. But Brad Gerstner, they've owned Snowflake for a pretty long time, so it makes sense that they're talking about it. Disney at 97. There was a rumor that Apple was going to buy Disney. I saw this like a couple of days ago, that there was stuff floating around. I don't think the markets, or the what do you call it? The FTC would allow Apple to buy Disney. I don't think that would happen. I met your uncle in India last night. He says hi. Why do I feel that's racist? I hope it was actually my uncle. I do have some uncles there. Admit they have big money believers, not enough, and Karp rubs people the wrong way. You have to have big money on your side. Until then, I won't touch it. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, see, the problem with this comment, Thomas, respectfully, is that when you say Karp rubs people the wrong way, that's the same thing as saying Elon rubs people the wrong way, right? It's the same thing as saying, oh, the CEO is too eccentric. And I'm not saying Karp is Elon. I'm not saying Palantir is Tesla. I'm just saying that it's not enough of an excuse. It's actually proves the thesis about thinking. For example, someone who has what you just said would not have invested in Uber, Airbnb in 2008, because you would have been like, people will never let people stay inside of their car or their house. But that's where the asymmetrical bet was. It's like, well, what if they do? And what if there's a business behind this? And those companies became $100 billion companies. So in that respect, when we think of Palantir and we think that tech is good, but we think we don't like the CEOs talking about how he's batshit crazy. That to me is just, you deal with that stuff. Like, yeah, it's not great when Elon buys Twitter, but you deal with that because you get Tesla because Elon is Elon. So, I mean, I don't know. Anyone who says anything about management, unless they start dumping shares massively, which Karp has not done, and he's going to probably do in December, but that's pure for vesting purposes, it doesn't really affect me in terms of that perspective. People don't love Karp for the same reason others love him. Yeah, that's it. Have you ever been to your homeland in India? Yes. Last time I went, it was 2019. Looking to go as soon as possible again. It's just hard because super busy and stuff. So we will see. Ty Gorin, you'd like to think the government would step in on Apple buying Disney, but Disney itself is already a very problematic monopoly, as is Apple. Disney is a monopoly to you? Why is Disney a monopoly? And that's an interesting question, chat. Do you think Disney is a monopoly? I mean, look, you got Paramount Global competing with Disney. You've got Netflix competing with Disney. You've got HBO and Viacom, but that's all under Paramount competing with Disney. Obviously, you've got YouTube and Google competing with Disney. I mean, if Disney's a content what is Disney? It's a content company and a theme parks company. There's a lot of different theme parks, so I don't think Disney has a monopoly on theme parks. Disney has a monopoly on their IP, but that's because they made Snowflake, the Princess and Snow White and all that stuff, right? They control the IP. And then when it comes to content, I don't think they have a monopoly. There's so much content to choose from, it's almost like social media. Social media, theoretically, given the rise of TikTok and some of these new apps we've seen, it's also not as monopolistic as we think it is. Like, yes, Google and Facebook still control a lot of it, but there is the opportunity for new entrants to step in the game. Apple is more of a monopoly to me in terms of it controlling the infrastructure for the internet versus something like a Disney. Open Door, some news out of here. Okay, the CEO of Open Door, Eric Wu, and founder, stepped down yesterday. The CFO has been introduced as the CEO, and the CEO is now the president of the marketplace. This is a big blow to anyone who owns Open Door stock, because when your CEO, like if Alex Karp became the president of operations tomorrow at Palantir, I would be pretty upset, right? Like, I want him as a CEO. I want him running the company. If Anthony Noto decides, hey, I don't want to be the CEO, I want to be when you're the president or executive chairman, you don't do shit. Like, the CEO does everything. You're the guy that just sits there and, does some interviews here and there, right? Like, Jeff Bezos is not doing as much as Andy Jassy right now. And he doesn't want to, right? He was the CEO for 20 years. So in that respects, that was pretty rough on Open Door. That was pretty rough for me to see that. Go look up what Disney owns, and keep in mind that doesn't include things they have huge influence over. But so Disney bought Hulu and a certain amount of 21st Century Fox. But that doesn't mean they're a monopoly. And they have Stars. I know they have Stars in India, but there is so much content out there. There's so many content companies. It's hard for me to imagine Disney's like a monopoly. This is where I had the S&P 430 options printed, 403 options printed. On the longs, Spinoza, oh yeah, I think I imagine the long. So you were long S&P to 403. When did you buy them? And it was like 390, 395, 380. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Amit, was Chris right or super right about Open Door? Well, Chris, you were right that something's going on. I don't know if you were right that it's bankrupt yet. Now, I never invested Open Door primarily because I didn't get the whole house buying thing. Like I was never like I just never understood it. But when Chris started pointing out that they were buying houses and selling them for less than they're buying, that I think Chris showed me this article like a month ago, 2 months ago. And that's when he was really skeptical about Open Door. So, Chris, you were right. I mean, Open Door is in a tough situation now. Are they bankrupt? I don't know if you're right about that. I think we got to see. But the CEO becoming the president is like when you're a CEO, like it's like Mark Zuckerberg transitioning from CEO and founder to the president. Like no one wants to see that. You want to see Zucks execute because he's Zucks, right? Like if love him or hate him, he's the like no one wants to see Elon not be the CEO and founder. So when the CEO and founder decides to move on, it's a really big red flag. It's like, why aren't you running your company? Even though times are tough, okay, the times are tough for everybody. Like get through this, right? Be the guy in charge. Be the guy who has to answer the questions. And if he's not doing that, that's rough. Someone mentioned Luckin Coffee. I've heard this stock a while. Is this a meme stock by any sense? Because I feel like this was a Wall Street bet stock to an extent, but I might be wrong on this. It was high to 51.38 January 2020. Wow, it dropped to 95 cents. I think it was a meme stock, if I'm not wrong about this. I feel like on StockTwits, it used to be trending. You say someone said it's undervalued, $4.7 billion market cap, price sales for. I don't know much about Luckin Coffee. If you could give me some stuff in the chat, I would love to know a little bit more about why they're interesting. Insiders were selling like crazy. Yeah, that's true. That was correct. Insiders were selling. That was also happening. But taking market share from Starbucks. Ah, interesting. Interesting. I haven't been to Starbucks in a long time, by the way. Eric Wu is walking away with $250 million. Yeah, that's not the best for Open Door. If you're an Open Door, that sucks, man. If you're an Open Door shareholder, bought on 11.9, 375, 12. Oh wow, that's awesome. Spinoza, that's great. So you bought options on the S&P to go to about 403 at 375, December 23rd expire. That's a great bet you took, man. It could have gone the other way, so that's a great bet. I'm appreciative. I appreciate you taking that bet and making money. That's awesome. And I appreciate you telling us. That's what I meant to say. I appreciate you telling us that you were able to make that bet. They had an accounting scandal, I think, that might be happening. Let me add Nubank. I know Chris has been talking about this for a while. I have to look into it. Chris, we need to do a podcast where you deep dive on Nubank because it has a $20 billion market cap and it feels a little bit overvalued. Chris, you love these richly valued stocks. Snowflake, Nubank. You love these types of stocks. They are growing like crazy. Check revenue in the last quarters and became profitable. All right, we're gonna put Luckin on the lift. We're gonna do Luckin on the lift or on the list and talk a little bit more about that. Disney companies, ABC, Freeform, National Geographic, blah 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 blah. Okay, one could say that, and I think you guys could agree that is somewhat a monopoly, but there's still more content to compete with. It's not like Apple and Google, and then no one else to distribute your app. Like you could, like what the comment highlighted on the screen, I could watch none of that content and still find content to watch. Like there's just so much content out there, bro. It's like insane. It's absolutely insane. Let me go to a website. Let me show you guys something that I think will be interesting for you guys to see. This is a website you guys can check out if you ever want to understand how big the internet is. Okay, just how big the internet is. I am mildly annoyed that people like new. Yeah, Glitch Life, you've been on this list for a while. This is called SimilarWeb.com. So put a website in the chat that you would like me to check the traffic. Let me do a basic one to show you the example. Let's go to YouTube. Okay. If I go to youtube.com, this website is one of the most accurate sources to tell me how many people visit this website every month. And so we have YouTube. First guess real quick before it loads. How many people do you think visit, or how many times is YouTube visited per month? It's giving me hold on. I want it to give me the old version of it. Okay, hold on. Let me open up a different version of it because it's giving me like a macro, but I'll tell you guys while I'm loading it up. YouTube is able to put up about 30 34 billion visits per month. So 34 billion visits is a lot of people, bro. 34 billion times people come to this platform. And then you got to think of like, how does that happen? And well, the number one reason is it comes pre-installed on every Android device, right? So when it comes pre-installed on every Android device, and there's a lot of Android devices that are being sold, you've got YouTube, boom, doing 34 billion times of people coming to the platform, which is a bit insane at the end of the day, right? The fact that YouTube is actually able to do that in and of itself. Google, and I'm just pulling it up real quick, Google has 85 billion come to the platform every single month, or 85 billion people come use it every day. So let me see if this works. YouTube. Yeah, here we go. All right, I'm gonna share my screen right now, which is insane. So we're gonna look at some of the other stocks we're looking at and see how their traffic is doing as well. So we have YouTube. Look at this: 34.2 billion people, 19.94% bounce rate. Average time people spend is about 21 minutes on the platform, and you can see it's been pretty consistent. The traffic. The 5 top countries: United States, Russia, Brazil, India, Japan. These are the top 5 countries that use the platform. And then if we go down a little bit, the platform gets most of their traffic from Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit. So these are the 3 websites that actually give distribution in terms of sharings of links. You would think it's Twitter, but Facebook's bigger than Twitter, but so many people share YouTube links on Twitter. Now let's go to Disney Plus. Okay, let's see what their traffic is every single year or every single month. 356 million people use Disney Plus every single month. So I mean, like, to give you a little bit of context on that, that's a decent amount of people. United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and Germany are the top 5 countries on that. And then in comparison, let's do Netflix. Netflix gets 2 billion, which is insane to me, bro. I cannot believe that Netflix gets, obviously it's not 34 billion like YouTube, which is why I think YouTube always is, the better option, just in terms of a company you want to bet on when it comes to content. But like, you can say Disney's a monopoly, and then Netflix is getting 2 billion visits per month over Disney. And a lot of the other media sources that Disney owns aren't really digital. Like a lot of those things people don't watch online. They watch it through like connected TV still. Like in particular ESPN, like most people don't watch ESPN Plus. They still have a cord on their TV. So I think that's like sort of the difference in terms of why I think Disney is not a monopoly. YouTube is the majority of Netflix's traffic. And then you have Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. Again, YouTube is a platform. Netflix and Disney are media companies. And I think the power of the platform is always there. Can you check Twitter traffic before or after Elon? I'll show Twitter traffic, but the problem is it's not updated for October. It only does 3 months before. So it's not going to show me what it is. But I doubt it's going to change that massively because Twitter plays in very big numbers. They're like 6 billion. Yeah, 7 billion per month. So yeah, they're only showing me up till September. So October, November, I don't think Elon Musk brought like another billion people to the platform. I mean, it's probably going to go up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be that much. But, if Twitter starts getting into the 10, 15 billion visits a month over the next 5-6 years, as you see, the United States and Japan, people don't know Japan is this, like, it has like, I think 100 million people out of 300 million or something like that used, or 80 million that use Twitter. United States and Japan use Twitter massively. Like we are on this platform. So that's kind of the share of distribution that goes out for them. We don't Disney and chill. That's true. That's also true. We don't Disney and chill. Netflix has content curated to global audiences. That's also true. But now Netflix has to spend a lot of money to get that content to global audiences. And that's a bit of the hard part. Let's go back into Webull and let's look at what is going on in the market. Hold on, there's one comment I wanted to see. In my opinion, business execution is greater than valuation. I'd rather have an expensive stock that has excellent execution than a cheap stock with below average performance. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. To me, the tech is what matters. Like, that's what I care about. Like, again, I want a 10x. I want a 20x. I don't want a 2x. And I'm willing to wait for that. But I also want to put my money in the place where I think it's going to happen. And so that's kind of a little bit of the bet that I'm taking. Now, I don't want to put all my money there, but I want to put some of obviously some capital there and see what happens. Anything changed crazy in the market? S&P stuck at 403, Meta stuck at 119, Netflix 315, Snowflake 149, Enphase going up 322. Look at this. It's so annoying, bro. It was at 313, then it just jumped up to 322. It's like one of those companies that just jumps. It's like if the market goes, if the S&P went to 450, Enphase might be at 400, like even maybe beyond that. Like it just jumps. It's one of those great stocks where if you got into it, and you enjoy it. But A lot of people didn't know about it a while ago. Alibaba recovering a little bit at 90, up at 5%. Not too bad. Tattooed Chef, $1.35. Oh boy. This one got hit. This one got hit. I hope no one really invested in this one. When I heard about it, and I love Jeremy, but when I heard about it, I just never got the excitement about it, bro. I don't know what was exciting about a vegan food company. I just never got it. I never got it personally. And that's not even to take a dunk on him. You know, we all have our bad choices, but that was when I never fully got. But it is what it is. Bitcoin at 16,912. Bitcoin recovering pretty nicely as well from the mid 15s. It went up to 17 something. Now it's right back down to 16.9. Bitcoin, I believe, is going to be unstoppable. I'm not a buyer of Bitcoin because I don't understand it, and I don't want to hold something this volatile. But when the market runs, Bitcoin is also I think it's silly to say Bitcoin's not going to run when it's not going to go down when the market goes up, you know? So, and Coinbase, as a consequence of that, will likely be a beneficiary. The question is, how long is it going to take for the market to go up? And if, you know, the United States finally regulates Bitcoin as a security, and there's all these questions there. I personally don't want to own it because I just don't like that volatility. I would rather own some other stuff, but I do think Bitcoin, you know, goes to the moon eventually. It's just, is that moon $1 million by 2030? I don't think so. I don't think it's a $21 trillion market cap asset, but could it get to 100,000? Maybe it's possible. Is there anything else? Shopify 4360. Shopify is up a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much it. CrowdStrike is recovering a little bit as well. It went down. It recovered 3 billion in market cap, went from 35 to 25, now at 28. So CrowdStrike not doing too badly in the current moment. This and Oatly, no thanks. Yeah, you should have a what did Elon tweet segment. I feel like we do that every time anyway. What did Elon tweet? Okay, that's it, everybody. And Bacon, I see your comment. Look at this brand new website I heard about, amidstmerchstore.com. My merch is launching on Monday. I hope you guys enjoy it. It'll be some pretty cool stuff. And if you guys like it, you guys like it. That's it for me. Successful week of market opens. I don't think I miss market opens anymore. I remember in March or April, I would miss market opens. Now it's like a part of my life. Now I wake up and I do the market open. And that's it. I'm here. The only time I missed it was Black Friday, but I went to go meet Gary Vaynerchuk. There's a video of that on my channel where I got to pitch him on my startup. So yeah, the market open is, you guys are my family now, man. Every morning, 9:20 to 10 a.m. I'm here, and I'm happy that we're averaging almost 200 people here. And, you know, one day, maybe that's 2,000. That would be crazy. That'd be just absolutely crazy. So I appreciate you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Start of December. Let's see what we can do in this month to get things rolling on the right track. And, yeah, have a great weekend. Spend some time with your family. I'm going to be working all weekend, getting stuff done. And that's it for me. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys a lot. I'll see you guys. Palantir stream tonight. Most likely, yes. Most likely Palantir weekend tonight. I'll see you guys later on Monday. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. David, I appreciate you. Bye-bye, everybody.